Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Night Vision. I'm Samantha.
And I'm Erin. Let's jump right into this week's news stories. To start us off, today is Junior Prom, which will be held in the Royal Manor in Garfield, New Jersey. During period 5, attending juniors will be called down to an assembly, after which they'll be permitted to leave to prepare for the event. The 9th grade car wash and PPO picnic are this Sunday. This PPO picnic is an opportunity for incoming freshmen to learn about the opportunities and student activities we offer here at BCA. Spark members will be able to present to facilitate groups activities to help their students to get to know each other. This weekend, the Academy of St. Paul will be performing Mary Poppins with a number of BCA students featured in the cast and crew. Additionally, the show is choreographed and directed by BCA Theater senior Christopher Bruno, who has previously appeared on Night Vision as a guest. BCA students will get a special discount on tickets, so check Outlook for more information if you're interested in attending.
The BCA Mogul UN team recently hosted JMUN, an Academy Mogul UN conference for middle school students. This was the most recent of many conferences both hosted and attended by BCA's Mogul UN team. Today we are joined by Mogul UN Secretary General Crystal Jiang, who will tell us more about JMUN and Mogul UN. Hello, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Can you first tell us a little bit about what Mogul UN is and what you guys do at the different conferences?
So Model UN itself really functions as a way to simulate the real United Nations, and a lot of the time we'll be able to represent a delegation or a diplomat from a specific country. When we represent that country, we want to debate about world issues, dealing with international relations, and really try to solve these world issues. So for example, I could be the delegation of Indonesia, and I could be debating on issues involving the World Health Organization and how to solve those huge issues in the world.
And can you tell us a little bit more about the two conferences that BCA does host, AMUN and JMUN?
So AMUN and JMUN both stand for Academy Model UN and Junior Academy Model UN. Academy Model UN is for our high school students, while Junior Academy Model UN is for our middle school students. Academy Model UN will host around 400 students from all over the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and I think sometimes Pennsylvania as well. They'll come down and they'll compete, and it's a really great time to see these delegates who are just as passionate about Model UN as I was. It was really great at AMUN to have Lori Campese, who is a Senior Director of Social Media at the UNHCR, as well as JMUN, which is our middle school conference that hosts around 200 students all over Bergen County and a little bit of South Jersey, and they will come and compete for one day, which is really nice.
And what other conferences does BCA Mogul UN attend?
So BCA MUN will do Princeton MUN, Yale MUN, WAMUNC, and various other smaller high school conferences. And so our college conferences are 4 days long for an entire weekend, and we'll travel all around the East Coast to compete, which is really great because we were able to win a lot of awards at those conferences, so congrats to all of my delegates for that, as well as BCA winning the Best Large Delegation at WAMUNC, Outstanding Large Delegation at YMUN, and Honorable Large Delegation at PMUNC.
And what is your role as Secretary General?
So my role as Secretary General involves a lot of planning and coordinating. I was able to pick my entire secretariat, who consists of these really dedicated seniors in Model UN. I could not have done any of the things that I would without them, and I also couldn't have done a lot of the things without my amazing advisors, Mr. Kramer and Ms. Wallace. But as Secretary General, I was in charge of basically coordinating all of these people from all different grade levels, whether it be a delegate, a chair, a staffer, or someone a part of the board. And I was also in charge of reaching out to our keynote speakers.
And as a senior, what are some skills that you have gained and developed while in Mogul UN that you will take with you as you go to college in the fall?
I think one of the most important things that I learned from Model UN in particular was the fact that I needed to understand how to work with people and how to interact with people from all over the world. At a lot of these college conferences, you'll run into people from Brazil and Italy and Korea, and these people have come from all different backgrounds, yet they are unified by the fact that they want to work on this solution and really try their best to fix this kind of simulated global solution. And I think that was one of the most important things for me as I go into college and meeting new people, is that you need to understand that these people come from all different backgrounds, but you're unified by a common experience, and that very human experience is really important. I mean, other things like technical skills, whether it be people skills or writing or anything like that, was also really important for Model UN as well.
Thank you so much for speaking
Thank you.
with us today, Crystal.
Thanks for having me.
Because we didn't use all of our allotted time for snow days this winter, the administration has announced that they will be adding to the calendar for upcoming weeks. Specifically, school will now be closed on the following dates: Tuesday, May 28th, Friday, June 7th, and Friday, June 14th. The spring print edition of the Academy Chronicle has been released. Students can grab a copy for themselves from the stands, which are located in the hallways in front of Commons, near the auditorium, and in the breezeway.
Recently, the New Jersey Future Farmers of America, or FFA, held their annual Agri-Science Fair. Many members of the BCA FFA Club are recognized for their research during this event with specializations in animal systems, food products, and even technical systems. Here with us today are Andy Park and Donna Chung to tell us more about FFA. Hello, thank you both for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So you're both division winners at the recent Agri-Science Fair. Can you guys tell us a little bit more about the event and what you guys researched?
So agri-science research starts in the greenhouse with Miss Gomes like a year before we have the event. And so when we start research, we have to go through this process where we're researching, we have to write our paper, we have to do our experiment, and that comes, for me, I did it during my sophomore year, and so I took the course of doing a plant systems project, although there are many different types of projects like animal science, there's technical projects that you can do, and so there's lots of different avenues that you can take when you're doing research with FFA. And once we finished our projects and we wrote our papers, we presented them at this Agri-Science Fair for New Jersey a month ago, and everyone came together, I think in Rutgers, and we had to present our projects. Me and Donna, we both in a first place spot, which means that we'll go to the National Agri-Science Fair, which occurs over the summer. And
yeah, so I did a group project. I did it with Anjali, and we did a joint research project. I know Andy did a solo research project, but to tell you more about the event itself, the Agri-Science Fair really is just a place for FFA members from New Jersey to be able to showcase what they worked so hard on over the past year. And again, as Andy said, we were judged by a variety of specialists for our own division. I did environmental sciences, so we had two specialists from the environmental science division from Rutgers to judge our presentation.
And you guys both also came in second place at the FFA Spring Career Development for Veterinary Science. Can you guys tell us some more about that?
Yeah, so basically in FFA there are two main types of events. There are CDEs and LDEs. CDEs are career development events and LDEs are leadership development events. Veterinary science is a CDE, and a handful of those CDEs are actually administered before the state convention, and veterinary science was one of them. And basically what we did was we went to Rutgers and we were judged based on a variety of different events. These events ranged anywhere from like a written test to practicums to a group activity. And the main focus of CDEs is to develop skills that are necessary to pursue the job that CDE is designed for. In our case, it was veterinary science.
so when we were doing the event, like Donna said, we had to do a lot of practical events, and so that might include doing procedures on stuffed animals as a model, and like for example, what we did this past month at the veterinary science event was administering medication to animals or handling them and restraining them.
Stuffed animals, of course, just
Yeah.
to clarify.
I thought it was going to be a real animal,
Yeah.
but in this way we were able to learn about what it's like to be a vet, and we got to explore different career options in the agri-science field, which is a really unique opportunity that FFA gives to the students.
And what is FFA all about, and is it only for research students?
Definitely not. I think there's a lot of different events for any type of student. So I know that in my case, I was introduced to FFA through the research program, but there's lots of different events in stuff such as business and marketing and communication, and there's also events in the career development events. There's also public speaking events. So for any type of student, there's a way for you to be involved in FFA.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are hesitant to join FFA or even other just science competitions simply because there is a big focus on research. However, if you really take a look at all that FFA has to offer, again, as Andy said, there's a really wide variety of skills and different types of events that cater towards all different types of interests and I think it's really important that we take a look at not only the research part of FFA, but also, as I mentioned earlier, the CDEs and the LDEs.
And how did the two of you get involved with FFA?
Well, I actually joined FFA my freshman year. I competed in marketing plan and I made it to the national convention, and I went actually this year as a sophomore. And basically I got involved because my friend, who was already in FFA, asked me to join her marketing team, and that's really how I found out about FFA. I went with marketing plan because research is not allowed for freshman students. Research really starts in sophomore year after we finish our agri-science research electives. That's really how I got to know FFA, and I've stuck with it ever since. I know Andy started with research, right?
Yeah, so I started in my sophomore year. I started going to events in my sophomore year, but in my freshman year, trimester 3, I started my research project and compiling all my resources, and so I was introduced to FFA through that avenue, but like Donna said, there's lots of different ways you can begin your participation. And so in my case, when I was doing research, I had to begin a project in more of a practical way of applying research. And so in my case, I was studying how various chemicals can affect the way that plants survive in flooded conditions. And so because of that, I got the opportunity to participate in my sophomore year at the Agri-Science Fair.
And what other events, competitions, and conventions does FFA attend, and how can one become involved in them?
Yeah, so I know that there's obviously the state conventions and the national conventions. However, if you place in the higher ranks for certain competitions, there are also branches of conventions that you can attend. For example, I know that if you rank high enough in the food science event, then you actually get to go to a separate convention afterwards in Georgia, which happens around January. So there are a lot of different opportunities outside of just the state and national conventions that FFA does offer.
Well, thank you both for speaking with us today.
This has been Night Vision, your go-to television show for BCA news, highlights, and more. I'm Erin.
And I'm Samantha. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next Friday here on Night Vision.